Welcome everyone. Now, if I sound absolutely terrible during the duration of this video, it's because I've been sick for the past 3 days. Not very fun, but we out here, as they say, making this video. In this one, I want to show you 3 automations that if you're a restaurateur, own a restaurant, know somebody who owns a restaurant, you can build these for them or build them yourself and implement them at your restaurant to scale, boost efficiency, and increase customer satisfaction over a variety of areas that you'll see in this video. If you have a 5-year-old brain and have ADHD coming out your ears, you can skip in the not description, the timeline of the video. There'll be timestamps below for the 3 different automations and the start of that part of the video. So skip around if you want, you coward. But anyway, for the real ones, we'll get into it. This man, Daniel, he has 3 Michelin stars, owns this restaurant in New York, 11 Madison Park, right bordering Madison Park right here. I've never been, personally, never been to New York, love to go, but it's an incredible restaurant, plant-based, and I learned a lot through the Stad Guy's new podcast featuring this guy. Now, it got me thinking. I've worked in the restaurant industry before, and I know the inefficiencies and some of the things that just really suck and just aren't that fun. And a lot of the restaurant software gets completely underutilized. A lot of the restaurants out there will have a restaurant software like OpenTable, for example, and they'll just use it for like reservations and bookings and stuff, but they won't utilize every feature it has or even use it to like increase retention rates or loyalty with their guests. And it's not good. So you can build your own tech stack and restaurant software. That's much better. So let's get into the video. You're going to learn something, so stick around. Let's get into it. Okay, so here we have automation number 1. As you can see, maybe got a little carried away and started building it before I turned the camera on. I always do that because I literally just sit here and like build automations all the time, all day, basically. And a lot of the time I just need to remember to turn the camera on and like film it because it just takes a little bit more energy to like talk about what I'm doing and how to build it and then edit it. It's not that hard. Anyway, so restaurant automation number 1 we will be diving into is the Google Reviews automation. So every single restaurant has Google Reviews. Every single restaurant can benefit from having more Google Reviews, especially more and better Google Reviews. Obviously, if you have 10,000 Google Reviews and they're all 1 star, your restaurant's probably shit and no one's going to go. But also Google is going to not show your restaurant if somebody looks up taco places and you're the lowest ranked taco place. So you want lots of reviews and good reviews. So how do you reward people and basically highlight to other potential guests that you are getting good reviews and that people are saying nice things about your restaurant? Well, showing the Google reviews publicly and kind of like shouting them out into the world is a good first step. So that's exactly what we're going to do in this one. This is going to be an automation using this Apify Google Maps review scraper. It's super cheap, $50 per 1,000 reviews. I basically just make a new account once in a while to get free credits for testing. And then on my production account, I will have like my plan that I pay for to use. So that's a nice little tip with Apify. You get $5 of free credits for testing. Quite nice. Although some scrapers require that you like have a paid plan. Anyway, so 50 cents per 1,000 reviews. Here we have the manual inputs. So this is where we're going. You can see 11 Madison Park. This is literally just the URL from up here. Copy and paste this entire thing, slap it right into here. And then you have place IDs, optional if you don't know what that is. You can click this thing. We don't need those. Number of reviews, sort by newest, right? Because we want the newest reviews. There's dates, right? But this is manual. We want to talk to Apify programmatically or through their API. So if we go up to here and click on API endpoints, we're going to see a list of many different API endpoints that all do slightly different things. The one we're going to want to use is run actor right here. So we're going to copy this, and this will already have your API key attached. That's the token equals and the 3 asterisks. That's your API key. So basically you can go over to here. This is what I've done here. The trigger is just when clicking test workflow. I always start with that. It's just dead simple. It's way easier to test. And then I would probably change this to like a trigger. It's not coming up because it's not a Oh, scheduled trigger. I was right there. Anyway, yeah. So then second module right here, you want to paste in this URL spot. Oh, it's just going to be an HTTP. So you go, you know what I'm saying? Add node, HTTP request. And then you're going to, in this URL section, you're going to copy and paste this URL from API, clients, endpoints, run actor. Click this copy button, paste it right in here. Simple enough. Simple enough, I think. So in here, that's exactly what I've done. And then you want to turn on send body. And then this is where we're going to send our JSON payload. The content type needs to be JSON. And then the specific body, you need to say using JSON. Once you've done that, you will get this big block where you can copy and paste your JSON. So you have all these things that appear right in here. So let me show you exactly where this is coming from. Right in this JSON part. You can toggle between manual, JSON. It's all right in here. So literally just copy this, paste it into your N8N JSON block, and then we can modify it. So from here, you can set max reviews. So I'm going to go for 10 reviews in this case. Personal data set to true. I'm going to set it to false. What personal data does in the context of this scraper is it will get the reviewer's name, I believe even their profile picture on Google, and different information about them. Now, there's different compliancy laws and privacy laws, especially in the EU. They're pretty tight on that. Here in North America, slightly less so. But unless you have a good reason to do this and you want to shout them out personally, sorry, I sound fucked. Sorry, it's actually disgusting. Maybe just click off the video. But unless you have a really good reason to basically scrape their personal data, I would set that to false. For start URLs, you want to make sure you still have your double quotes right here, and then paste in your entire URL, including the HTTPS, ://, and then your URL. You want all this. You want all that. And then leave this method get at the bottom. Hit save on that. Cool. The request parameters didn't change. I don't know why this is being a dick. Didn't change. Anyway, the second one. Oh, and let's actually just rename this. This is going to be start scrape. And then this one is going to be get scrape results. And then for this one, you can see it's a very similar situation here with the URL. And that's all we need. The only difference is that for this one, the parameter is going to be a post. The method is going to be a post request. This one is going to be a get request. Then this URL where I'm grabbing this is I'm literally just going back into here, endpoints, scrolling all the way down, get last run dataset items. That is this. Boom, copy, paste that. Click this button, paste it right in there. Dead, simple, and you don't have to change anything else. Hit save, and then let's look at some of the results that we got. Let me just pin these. So basically, can we look in, I guess table is probably the easiest way to see this. So I'm going to expand this anymore. So I wish this node would let me expand this whole thing more. So basically, anyway, sorry. So we have all these different columns and headers right here. Reviewer ID. So for this scrape, I had the personal data set to true. That's why we have this name column right here with all the names. Dhruv Patel, Abdullah, the whole gang is in here. So yeah, reviewer photo URL, we have this, which is kind of hilarious. Like, oh, I don't know what we do with that. But then we have the text, right? So this is kind of like the main thing we're actually after here. So we have the text associated with the review. We can see published at. So we have the, when it was published, but then we also have a more specific published at date, which will be super useful. And we're going to actually add that onto our post if we want. Review ID, review URL, origin, rating. Yeah, super easy. Review context, which is a nice little summary. But we're going to do our own summary. Yeah, food. Ooh, pretty brutal review, buddy. Anyway, so we got all our data, right? That's super nice. Hit save on that. Then from here, once we have all of our data, all of our reviews, our recent reviews, right? Because remember in here, we set it to, wait, we need to actually go back here, go to manual, all reviews, our review origin, all reviews, newest. So then if we go back to the JSON, we should see review origin all and reviews sort newest. So we're going to need to add both of these because that's very important. We're going to need these different Boom, add those in, review origin, review sort, newest, and then that will allow us to actually grab the newest scrapes, which is obviously what we want, right? So basically from here, what we're going to do is we are going to go to here and go to ChatGPT, OpenAI, message a model. Where is it? There it is. Connect your account. I'm struggling, boys. I'm struggling with this one. Message a model from list. The old 4.0 be fine for this. GPT 4.0. Cool. And then for the prompt, I'll probably write this off camera and then I'll just show you what I wrote. Basically, all I'm going to do is I'm going to say, hey, here is all of these reviews. We need to like separate these actually. Okay, I'm just going to delete this OpenAI node because there's actually a couple things we need to set up here in terms of the logic for our flow. So if the text is null or empty, basically if the review actually doesn't have any text associated with it, we are not going to use it. And we're just going to say, nope, it's fine. Don't need that. So if text, we'll go actually, if text is not empty, and then, so if text is not empty, or if there is text, then down this true line, we're going to add a set node. This, or just like, yeah, stop and throw error. So, no reviews to see here. And then, okay, cool. Then in our set node, just manual mapping, we'll call it like review lines, and then keep it string. And then for our expression, just execute the previous nodes if you have no data to work with here. So we're going to call it review lines, keep it a string, change it to expression down here. And then our expression is just going to be published at date. So if I do this, you have published at date right here. So we have this, JSON published at date. Then we go plus. So we're concatenating these two strings together or adding them. Plus, we're going to add a colon right here. Plus, quote, colon, quote, plus JSON text, which is just the text from here. Like you can see if I just look up text, this is the text right here. Excellent service. So we say perfect, we hit save on this. Now, if I execute and run this, then, so you can see this is actually very, very useful right here. So 2 items went down to the stop and throw error because 2 of them were empty. So the false, or this if statement, worked perfectly. It channeled the flow of our contents perfectly because if they don't have text, we don't want them obviously. So only 8 items went up to here. So then the review, so execute this node. Let's just run this bad boy, test this. So then you can see review lines, excellent service. Review lines, definitely recommend review lines. You get it, right? Then obviously you have a slightly larger review right here, a few larger ones. So very simple, very, very nice. Now we can hop into, we can actually message OpenAI, message model. Now we can actually get a little bit more fun and we can use this. The resource is text, message model, 4.0. Then I'll write the prompt. Basically, it's going to be like, here's some reviews. They have a date and then the actual contents of the review that somebody wrote. They're all for a restaurant called 11 Madison Park in New York. You need to, what I'm going to do for this video is I'm going to basically connect an OpenAI image generation node using their new, DALL-E 2, and basically just have like a summary of the review with the date of the review with like a lovely background of like a modern restaurant. And then you can link that up to like a LinkedIn, an Instagram, whatever you want. So you're spreading reviews with a nice little creative flair using DALL-E 2 to all your social media. That's what we're going to do. I'm long-winded this video. Sorry about that. Okay, writing the prompt. Okay, so I'm basically just saying you're an extremely helpful restaurant review assistant. You sort, summarize, and organize restaurant reviews. Example, you may get a review similar to this. And then I just copied this review directly in here. And then I'm literally just going to say, for all reviews, remove special. So give the review for all your reviews, remove special characters, and condense the long ones into a very short summary using only their words. Just summarize it all. All text will need to fit on an Instagram post, so in no world can it be very long. Short is good. May 2nd, 2025. Okay, that's it. Cool, take your time. Nice, so that's done. That's the system prompt. Now we're gonna add another prompt, and this is gonna be the user prompt. And sort and summarize. I think I can just wham this right in here. Think so? Cool. We'll see. We'll see. We may want to output it as JSON, but also maybe not. We'll test it and see. Save, and let's run this, and we'll see what the results are. So close this error. Doesn't matter. We know it errored because that was the whole point of the node. Stop and error is what it's called after all. So from here, ladies and gentlemen, we have our prompts, 30 words or less. And as you can see, after we've run this again, all of our content is way shorter, like way shorter. So which is awesome. And it's being formatted the date in the exact way that we would like. So that's perfect. Now we can just feed these into the image generation model from DALL-E 3. I was wrong when I said DALL-E 2, DALL-E 3. And we'll see what we get because this is the whole point and it's going to be really sick, actually, I think. So this will not be included due to its negative sentiment. So I guess, sorry. So why I'm pausing here is because remember we actually said anything with a negative sentiment do not include, right? So in our prompt here, we can see, sorry, it was our system prompt. We say anything with a negative sentiment don't include. So it says, lastly, fill out all reviews with a negative sentiment. We only want positive reviews on Instagram. Output an X for all reviews with a negative sentiment. Perfect. So now instead of it just saying this review will not be included due to its negative sentiment, there will just be a big X there. Really easy for us to see, really easy for AI to filter out. An evening unforgettable, life-changing evening, food, vibrant. So like the really good ones. Anyway, pin this so we don't actually have to keep rerunning this over and over and over again. Save this. Excuse me. Lovely. Now we have 8 items. So from here, we're going to go to OpenAI again. We're going to go generate an image, resource image right here, generate an image, and then we're going to use DALL-E 3. The prompt is going to be the content. So this is one of the really annoying things with Make is it doesn't show you how many items are being passed. So oftentimes you have to split, aggregate, whatever, all the things, put it together, take it apart, mash it up. And you oftentimes won't even get the number of images that you want, which is extremely annoying. Anyway, for the test, I'm just going to hard code in the this, just so we don't burn through a bunch right here. I'm going to turn it back to fixed, and it's going to say, incorporate the image. It's going to say May. I'm just going to write this one, May 21st, 2025. One of the absolute most gorgeous restaurants I've ever been to. We're just going to test this step separate from the entire workflow because we don't want it to generate the full amount of times, like 8 times. It'll just take way too long to generate 8 images. So I've just hard coded it like I showed you previously, right? And then we can just view this right here. So I feel like this is really bad. Wait, what's the new? So I apologize, everyone. I was using DALL-E 3, which is terrible, and I completely forgot. And you can see the result on the right-hand side of the screen. It's disgusting, and you can barely read the text. It's terrible. GPT Image 1 is the model that we will want to use. So let me just click test this step again, because it's disgusting. It looks horrible. So guys, I'm just going through an identity check on OpenAI right now. Turns out, since I actually haven't used their new image generation model, GPT Image 1, via API yet. This is something that's pretty annoying, but you need to actually verify. So you just go to this URL, boom. So I'm going to complete this identity check right now. So if I go back to here and I click test step, it still says check your credentials. So it's just, it said it takes 15 minutes, take up to 15 minutes for access to Propagate. Should be done pretty soon. I made new credentials and we're just trying to generate an image here, buddy. So what if I copied this? I don't know if this is going to do anything. What if I copied this, I just added a node and did the same thing we've done, OpenAI, generate an image, set up DALL-E 3, boom, boom, test. So now it seems to be executing since I deleted that. Maybe there's some sort of metadata in the background that was causing that to error out. But it is generating an image now with our content that we hard-coded, remember, but it will give us a very accurate representation of what our thing will look like, what our image will look like. And let's see here. So then you can think about this flow linearly, guys, since we're kind of reaching the end of this build. So you could basically just generate say a restaurant gets 5 reviews a week, right? You could just set this to run once every 2 days. And then you could post, say, 3 days a week on Instagram of these reviews. You can change the art style via this prompt right here. You can get extremely creative, let your imagination run wild, and tweak this however you want. And then I'm doing it, we're overlaying the text on top of the image. I have a feeling that's what'll look cool, but the world is your oyster. You can play around with this and get extremely creative. So you can see how this would benefit a restaurant in their social media creation and how easy this is. So after we view this image here, that'll about wrap it up for this first build, automation 1 for restaurants. So you can see here, much, much, much better. One of the absolute most gorgeous restaurants I've ever been to. May 21st, 2025. So you can see here, it looks quite good. It's not too bad at all. Now, one thing I will say, this is a little caveat that you can go out and research if you're so inclined, or message me on Instagram. I'd be happy to help you build these. If you want to work with me, links in the description, you know the deal, all that stuff. But basically, you can call this via the API, and the API has a parameter where you can actually set the output size. So 1040 by 1040 image. So it can be perfect for Instagram. And that's exactly what you'd want to do in a production scenario, basically. So with that being said, that's the image, guys. We're going to connect that up to here. So now it will run every single time, and we'll have eight outputs that we can save wherever we want. Save this. Now you have the first automation all done. Let's move on to automation number 2. So for automation number 2, I was thinking we could do something like a dynamic weather-aware menu board. As you can see, I've titled the automation already, Dynamic Weather-Aware Menu Board. Now, what I mean by that is a restaurant obviously has a set menu. Fancy restaurants have a changing menu, stuff like that. But what if you could actually dynamically choose a menu or a recommended selection of items on your pre-existing menu based on whatever the weather was? So cold, rainy, maybe the soups, maybe a nice warm glass of red wine, stuff like that, right? Hot day, maybe a little bit ice cream for dessert, and some more weather appropriate hot day things. You get the idea. Let's build it now. So we're just going to use the one clicking test workflow. Again, you would obviously use a scheduled trigger like this guy right here, a scheduled trigger, and then set the intervals that you want this to run. Cool. So from there, we're going to go AI, and then we're just going to go OpenAI. You're noticing maybe a bit of a theme here in this video. We're going to message a model. The resource text, then the model is going to be GPT. Where is it at? It's down here a little bit. GPT-4o Mini Search Preview. This is perfect. GPT-4o Mini, a little bit cheaper. And for this very trivial search task we're running, we can have the smallest parameter model running, and it will operate perfectly fine, and it will do just fine for us. So all we're going to say is report back. Yeah, and that's just the user prompt. That's all we need. That's literally it. Like dead simple. And then the tools. Um, it would be really cool if OpenAI could like call OpenAI. But anyway, um, we're just going to literally chain it with another OpenAI message a model. This model is going to grab the result from the 4.0 mini search preview. And now we're literally, we're just going to use GPT 4.0 for this part right here. Now this prompt right here, I just recorded that entire thing, this entire build, finished it, demoed it, executed it without any audio, which is great. I love doing that. That's awesome. So I was on this step where I was talking about what the prompt was going to be. So I'm just going to run you through this quickly, but you will have all the ability to build this yourself if you would like after watching this. So anyway, prompt for the 4.0 mini search preview. Your task is to check the weather in downtown Victoria, BC, Canada. Report back with only today's weather, nothing more. Very simple. That's it. Literally done. Next, you're just going to want to put another message model node from OpenAI in message model. This time we're using GPT 4.0. We can expand this. I'll let you pause the video for a second. I'll let you read this. Basically, we execute this previous node for the weather, drag this content, which is what this is. And this is right here, json.message.content. So that's the weather data. Give it access to this, and then you can see the rendered output on the right-hand side here, which is super helpful for like building, testing, and looking at these workflows. Then basically all I said is analyze the weather. Now, then basically what I did from there, since 11 Madison Park doesn't have a menu, maybe that's just like to add to the lore of it online, I would assume. I went to this awesome local restaurant here called the Tapa Bar, and they have their menu right here. Basically what I did was I just went out a couple times on the page. Let's go back to 100. But yeah, basically I just zoomed out a bit on the page, took a screenshot of this, Command-Shift-4, uploaded it into ChatGPT, said extract every menu item and option and list them in an easily digestible way. Did exactly that. And then I went back down here and I said, here's the menu you can pick from. And I just pasted it all in there. And it has really lovely markdown formatting and it just looks great. So you can just give it all in here for this kind of a use case where there's just a menu and it's not like it's 100 pages of like a PDF or something. Like it's just a menu. So you just slap it right in there. That was the system prompt. And then the user role, I said, give the best pairings for today, nicely formatted and laid out. That's it. And then the next node is going to be, instead of the text resource, you're going to want to do image resource. Model is GPT image 1. Remember to verify your organization on ChatGPT, like I did in the first build, if you don't have access to this model, because this is the only model you're going to want to use from ChatGPT for image generation. Everything else is complete shit. Then I said, make a suitable weather-specific menu image based on this data and descriptions. Recommendations from our chef. Then I dragged in the content right here. Do an amazing job and follow a Spanish tapa bar aesthetic. Then that's it. That's all I said there. Then it did it. I ran this. We can check it out. So you can see here, it's quite cool. Maybe I'd say always make sure to have a bit more vibrant colors, make it a bit more fun, or make the weather, like if it's a hot day, make it feel kind of like summery and like a vacation. If it's cold, make it feel wintry, that kind of a thing. So you can definitely tweak the prompt more than I did, of course. And then this is what it came out with. Like, it's really cool. Yeah, it's absolutely lovely. And it looks really, really nice as well, in my opinion. So then another thing that I was talking about, or that I think would be an incredible addition to this build, is like, imagine if you had some sort of database connected to this that was either like just a Google Sheet, like a mailing list, or any sort of database of the people who you were going to send this to who wanted to sign up for this weather specific menu. It could just be a little QR code at the front. Sign up for our brand new weather specific menu. You will receive text or email messages every time we release a new weather specific menu. And it could be like, in brackets, 3 days a week. Then from there, you could drag the person's name into this prompt and you could say, we are sending this to Katie, or we are sending this to Eli. And then in the image, it could literally be like weather specific menu for Eli. I think that'd be really cool. I think you'd be building a ton of goodwill by doing that. And I know if I got that from a restaurant, I'd be like, it's like somebody took the time to make that for me. That's insane. So regardless, this is the build. Okay, on the number 3. Guys, so this third and final automation that I want to highlight for you here is a little bit open-ended because I want you to take what you've learned in this video and then apply it and build on this and then send me all of the insane, cool things that you build. So let me explain. The entire basis of this automation is a Telegram trigger. So in this Telegram trigger, you create new credentials. I've named it Restaurant Bot. The trigger is going to be on message, and then you're going to want to download images and files right there. Now, basically what this is doing is, let me just show you really quick. Where is it? In Telegram. So basically you need to go to this bot folder thing. You type /bot or new bot /new bot. And then you pick a name, you pick all this stuff, and then you get your access token. Basically with that access token, you go here, you go new credentials, and then you go boom, done. And then you can create the credentials and rename it, whatever you want. Then you're gonna want the get file Telegram node. And then for the file ID, you can just drag in the file ID from right over here. Boom, operations get resources file. And then the credentials need to be for the one that you just made. Next, transcribe recording. We're going to use OpenAI's Whisper to transcribe. And then basically the input data field name needs to be called data because that corresponds with the the file name that we have here from Telegram. Then here, guys, I just put another OpenAI node. You can do an agent that has an email tool. You could have a Postgres database or a Google Sheet, like I said, with all the names of people that you could send this thing to. One of the ideas I had is that basically like the chef could speak into Telegram with a brand new recipe or a feature thing that the customers could make at home, basically. And then from there, they would get that email or the text message, however you wanted to deliver it to them. And then they go, cool, I'll try this from home, or a recipe from Steamship that I can make at home. Or I said Steamship, that's a restaurant I used to work at. Or a recipe from, Tapa Bar that I can cook at home. So that's kind of the idea, guys. I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for watching. If you stuck around to the end of this video, I appreciate you. I love you. And just let me know in the comments if you have any more automation builds that you want me to do. I'm extremely open, guys. I've got a couple projects on the go right now, so I'm kind of busy, but I just want to really focus on YouTube as well right now because I'm just trying to really double down on that this year. So anyway, without further ado, I'll catch you in the next video.